Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to plot a demand curve on graph paper. Don't worry, I will guide you step by step. Before we draw the graph, we need to look at the table. Okay, we need to look at the table. The table shows us different prices and the quantity demanded for each price level. Let's understand what it means. When the price of the product is cheap, we are willing and able to buy it. For example, at 5 ringgit, the quantity demanded is 200 units. When the price increases to 10 ringgit, we only afford to buy 160 units. If the price goes up again to 15 or 20 ringgit, the quantity demanded keeps decreasing to 100 units to 70 units. Why? Because this is a problem that we call scarcity. We all have limited money, so when the price goes up, we can't buy much as we can. Our purchasing power becomes lower. So this negative relationship between price and quantity demanded, and that's what the demand curve shows us. Now let's draw the graph. Okay, you need to remember that when drawing a graph on graph paper, your scale x-axis and y-axis, your scale must be uniform. That means it must be consistent. The space between number of on the axis must be the same. Okay, for example, for price on the y-axis, okay, I will use two big boxes which is around 2 centimeters. And for numbering, I choose 5 ringgit. I stop at 20 ringgit because refers on our table, the maximum price is 20 ringgit. For quantity demanded on x-axis, okay, I will use one big box only. Okay, which is around 1 centimeter for every 40 units. Okay, I stop at 200 units because our quantity demand here, the maximum number is 200. So you can see the scale for price and the scale for quantity demanded doesn't need to be the same. Just consistent on its own axis. Okay, now we will plot each of the point from the table one by one. At 5 ringgit, quantity 200 units. 10 ringgit, quantity 160 units. 15 ringgit, quantity 100 units. And 20 ringgit, quantity 70 units. Once all the points are plotted, connect them using a smooth curve. Okay, no straight line, so no need to use ruler. Just use your hand to draw a neat curve through the points. At the end of the curve, label DD. So this is our individual demand curve. Okay, so it slopes downward from the left to the right because of negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. So this graph shows the individual demand for one buyer only. But let's think. In real life, it's not just one buyer in the market, right? There can be hundreds, thousands, even millions of buyers. So to keep things simple, we assume there are only two buyers. Okay, we name it as a customer A and customer B. They have different demand because everyone has different income and preferences. Some people have higher income, some lower, and some in between. But still, both buyers, we can see the same rule. When price increases, quantity demanded decreases. This follows the law of demand. So how to get market demand? Simple. Just add the quantity demanded for each buyer at every price level. For example, customer A wants to buy 7 units at $10. Customer B just only want to buy 5 units at the same price. So we total up. The market demand is 7 units. Okay, when price goes up to 30 ringgit, okay, at 30 ringgit or $30, customer A demand for 4 units and customer B demand for 3 units. The total market demand will be 7 units. At 50 ringgit, customer A demand for 2 units and customer B demand for 1 unit, and our total market demand is 3 units. We do this for every price in the table, and that gives us the market demand table. So before we plot the demand curve, we need to plot the individual curves for customer A and customer B, all on the same graph paper. Okay, you need to remember, okay, all three curves for customer A, customer B, and market demand must use the same horizontal scale. Okay, so all curves must be aligned horizontally on the same graph from the left to the right. Here, how I choose the scale. For y-axis, price. Okay, so for y-axis price, I choose 2 big boxes with scale of 10 ringgit. Same goes with customer B, 2 big boxes, scale of 10 ringgit. And market demand needs to follow the same rule. 2 big boxes, scale of 10 ringgit. Okay, for x-axis, I use the same scale, which is 2 big boxes, but in 3 units quantity. Okay, so 2 big boxes with 3 units quantity. Same goes with market demand, must follow the same rule, 2 big boxes with 3 units of quantity. So all these 3 graphs must follow the same scale as the first one. Okay, but remember, the maximum quantity for each buyer will be different. Customer A, maximum 9 units. Customer B, maximum 6 units. Market demand, okay, maximum number is 12 units. Okay, so for the market demand, we must extend the x-axis until 12 units. Why this happen? Because based on our market demand table, customer A maximum at 7 units, customer B maximum at 5 units, and market demand maximum at 12 units. Since customer B maximums at 5 units, therefore, when we plot the graph, we can stop at 6. So no waste of resources. Okay, plot one by one, and once all the curves are plotted, Label our customer A curves as DA. Okay. Label the customers B curves as DB. And label the market demand curve as MD. Okay. And label at the bottom of the graph with the name of the buyers. Make sure each curve is clearly labeled so it's easy to understand. If you look closely, you will see the slope of the curves are different. Some curves are stepper, some curves are flatter. So this tells us about the sensitivity of the buyer, which is how they react when the price change. Discuss for example. Okay, we can see that customer A, okay, the curve is much more stepper, so the buyer is less sensitive. They still buy even the price goes up. For customer B, the slope of the curve is more flatter, which is the buyer is more sensitive. They will stop buying quickly if the price increases. So different buyers will respond differently to price changes, and we can see it shows in our graph. Okay, so that's how you plot individual demand curve, market demand curve with a proper scales, labels, and interpretation. Understand how to draw and read the demand curve is super important in economics. It helps us to understand how consumer behavior and market patterns. Is this was helpful? Bye.